what is GitHub? What is GitHub? So in generally, I already showed what is a GitHub. GitHub. So what is GitHub? Is understood? Guys, now you understood what is Git? So what is GitHub? GitHub I already showed, right? So what is a GitHub? GitHub is the remote repository to store the developers code, to store the code, and who modified, when modified, what modified, why modified. So we'll track all these changes in the Git remote repository. GitHub is a platform. What is that, guys? GitHub is a GitHub is a platform which is used to store project related files or source code at one place. Right, GitHub is a platform which is used to store project related files or source code at one place. Right, in GitHub, what is that? In GitHub, so we can create source code repository to store project code. We can create a source code repository to store project code. Here, I created a repository for to store the So I created a repository, AWS DevOps material. So this is the repository. This is the repository. This repository is to store the AWS material. AWS material, AWS DevOps material. Same like as a Citibank. This is the Citibank or something like this is the code, right? For example, this is the DS Git file. So this is for to storing the developed code. Okay. We can create the source code repository. We can create a source code repository to store the project code. So what is that? All developers can connect to the project repository to store the source code. So here, all the developers can connect to the GitHub repository and to store the code. All developers can connect to the project repository to store project code. Okay, so the code integration will be very easy, right? The code integration will be very easy. Next one, GitHub repository. GitHub repository will monitor all the code changes. How they can monitor? 1 second, guys. Yeah. How they can monitor? The same like as who modified, when modified, right? So this one. So this one, who modified, when modified, what modified, why modified. So it repository will monitor the all code changes. Why modify, right? So now you understood GitHub. Very good.